Hey, welcome to the dev update number 3 for DXU24. We're not calling it DXU24 anymore, it's called Surreal 98. Yay! Woo. I'll retain the name DXU24 as a pseudonym, but the project from here on out will be called Surreal 98. That's how you'll find it on Steam or whatever other platform we put it on. I think I have to set something straight with the project itself, in that it is not strictly a remaster of the old games. What I've shown in previous videos, like you can see in this clip here, is more like what the potential of Surreal 98 gives to modders who want to redo assets in old games. Surreal 98 will still come with automatically upgraded materials, but they won't look as nice as the ones that I've shown before. It'll really shine when someone comes in and handcrafts a new material for every one of the surfaces and models in the original game that they're trying to remaster. I just don't have time to do that myself, and I'm not skilled enough as a texture artist or material artist to do that. I get a lot of comments about how what I'm doing is highly illegal and stealing or whatever. He's a criminal. That can't be right. Call the cops. I say we hang him. Well, hold up. I think this comes from a fundamental misunderstanding of what Surreal 98 actually does, which is probably on me for not explaining it very well, and it is quite tough to explain. I think ultimately it's important to understand that Surreal 98 is not a remake. It doesn't come with any of the assets or any assets derived from the code, art assets, or even the intellectual property of the original games. Surreal 98 is simply something I like to call a game rendering client. If you own Deus Ex, Unreal Tournament, Unreal Gold, or Rune, you can turn that application into what I call a server. And Surreal 98 on the Unreal Engine 5 side acts as a client. And through that pathway between those two applications, we can make the magic happen. But what does that mean for you as a customer? What do you get out of Surreal 98? It means that if you buy and install Surreal 98 and you have Deus Ex or Unreal Tournament or Rune or Unreal Gold installed, it will run those games in you automatically in Unreal Engine 5. And by running it in Unreal Engine 5, you get access to a modern rendering pipeline, the Unreal Engine editor, and VR support. Surreal 98 comes with an Unreal Engine editor plugin that will allow you to make your own texture and material mods that just makes those old games look really nice. And using our modding framework, you should just be able to integrate them with Surreal 98 and they'll just work. Before we start talking about the features that were implemented since the last update, I'd just like to remind you we do have a few socials. We've got Patreon. That helps a lot. Times are getting tough and every little bit helps, and I'm super grateful for the people who have put forward even the smallest amount, because all of it helps. We also have a Discord. You should definitely be on there if you want the latest updates on anything. And I'm also on X, but X is kind of a shit show, so I don't know, it's pretty hit or miss sometimes. I don't know, man, it's up to you. Alright, we've covered some of the boring stuff, but let's get into the features. Let's see some of the fun shit. Some people have been asking, does it work with Deus Ex Revision? Yeah.
Quit screwing around.
Yeah, look. There it is. It's working. Cool. Music for the game doesn't work though. I think Revision's too smart for its own good and it thinks it's minimized. So it just doesn't play any music. Thanks, Revision. I spent about a day getting the Rune up and running with the Surreal 98 framework. It was relatively straightforward, apart from the fact that Rune uses a skeletal mesh system that isn't used in any other Unreal Engine 1 game. Otherwise, it operates, it works, it runs, and once we get the skeletal mesh system implemented, it should be supported.
Greetings, young warrior. May Odin guide your sword on the field of battle.
With feedback from Crimson, I've developed an Unreal Engine editor tool that works as a plugin to off-the-shelf Unreal Engine editor that allows you to load in your target game maps for modification. So in this case we're loading a Deus Ex level, and you can select actors or surfaces or lights or anything that you want to modify, and you can tell the mod file to replace that asset with an Unreal Engine 5 asset. So in this case we're replacing materials on the walls, and you would save those material assets and that mod asset out and just distribute them, and then bam, you can give someone a level that has waterfall walls for some reason. I've added support for loading streaming levels on top of existing Deus Ex or whatever game levels. This is a mechanism in Unreal Engine that allows you to create levels outside the main level and layer them on top of whatever level you like. So a modder potentially can make a streaming level that has new water, skybox, or fog, and layer them on top of the original Deus Ex level just to make them look nicer. Let's see an example of the modding framework with this showcase here from Crimson, a modder who's been working on content behind the scenes with a alpha version of the modding framework. What he's done in this example is he has made a low geometry map in Unreal Engine 1 for Deus Ex, and when he plays it through Surreal 98 he has chosen to override the map assets with some brand new assets that work and look better in Unreal Engine 5. So all the hit traces and line traces, item placements and object placements are still done with Unreal Engine 1 in real time, but as that's coming through to Surreal 98, the framework just replaces them with new visual assets just to make them look nicer. But as you can see here, he's still got items and enemies in the world from his original Unreal Engine 1 map, and they should still react correctly to collision and sightline checks, because the low detailed geometry in Unreal Engine 1 still maps somewhat directly to this high resolution level in Unreal Engine 5. People have been asking about ray tracing support, and yep, we do support ray tracing and path tracing through NVIDIA's RTX branch of Unreal Engine. We might have to wait till 5.5 till Epic releases their own version of a real-time path tracer. You get nicer shadow seams, but generally you don't benefit a lot from path tracing or ray tracing unless you completely redo all the materials in the old game. I think a lot of people don't realize that Quake RTX and Portal RTX have all of their materials completely redone in the vein of making it look good for ray tracing. Ray tracing doesn't actually add that much in terms of material quality. It's more about shadows and global illumination and reflections is where a game can benefit a lot from path tracing. I've added Parallax Occlusion mapping to the base material that you can turn on explicitly through a mod for certain textures to just make them look a little bit nicer and look like they have more geometry when they don't. I started using my modding architecture to add some overrides for the base materials in the game so that we can make better use of Unreal Engine's physically based rendering pipeline. So that's things like wood, marble, skin, metal, concrete, just so they reflect more realistically and look like they fit better into the game. Using the modding framework you can make things look shiny and bumpy, or they can look like they've got wood grain, or they've got skin. I know people are big fans of having skin, so you can put that in, no problem. I spent some time focusing on Unreal Tournament 99 as well, just to get some of the systems it uses for rendering working with Surreal 98. Unreal Tournament 99 uses some slightly different systems from Deus Ex. Deus Ex doesn't exploit a lot of the parts of the Unreal Engine like UT99 does. One of those features is the mesh-based particle system, which is used here by the smoke trail for the rocket and for the trail for the shock rifle. Generally a mesh is made up of points, and between those points you can draw triangles to make up a flat surface to render to screen. But with a mesh-based particle system, we take those vertices and we spawn particles at those locations instead of drawing faces. Mesh-based particle systems are also used for the respawn effect of items and for the teleporter effect when the player uses the personal teleporter. Alright, we have parent animated meshes. That just basically means a mesh can use a parent mesh to drive its animation state. This is used by the shield belt here, but you can see it doesn't quite have the air gap between the shield and the player. That's due to a lack of the fatness being implemented for Unreal. That'll come later. Unreal Tournament requires the renderer to animate its sprites for it for a lot of its explosion effects, so we had to implement that as well here, so you can see it for the flak explosion and the rocket explosion. We've done the preliminary work on render iterators, so that's for this laser beam here that doesn't look like a laser beam. That's because it's a little messed up, but we'll keep working on it, we'll figure it out, we'll get there in the end. I mean, this is supposed to be arcing electricity, doesn't really look like it, does it? We added support for multiple sub-viewports. This is pretty important for Deus Ex's security camera system, where multiple game views are rendered into the UI to show the different perspectives of the different cameras. You can see that here. We support Lumen now, so the mesh plugin I use added support for it recently, which has been great. Lumen adds things like global illumination and better reflections, without the need to use hardware ray tracing, so this will actually work on older video cards as well. I added a quality of life feature for first person meshes used for weapons and items and whatnot held in the player's hand. Essentially what it does is it maintains a constant field of view number for the weapon that's independent from the game's field of view. So the world will render at a different field of view to the weapon, which means we can hide ugly seams where polygons are missing in the weapon. We also scale the weapon down now to a custom value so that it doesn't poke through things when you walk up to them. So it won't poke through walls, it won't poke through characters, because before the mesh was actually quite large and would just penetrate any surface that you would push it up to. However, now that we scale it down to a reasonable size, it's not likely to ever actually penetrate into other meshes now. Unreal Gold still needs a lot of work. Like here we can see the meshes are using the wrong starting animation to initialize with. Layered skyboxes currently aren't implemented, so we get a black sky. All that stuff is actually coming through to Surreal 98, but it's just not being processed properly currently. And just there you saw some problems with some particle effects where the textures come up as blank textures. Or here we can see there are actually some ghost mover meshes for doors and lifts and such. And that's just small bugs we need to figure out later. But Unreal Gold isn't a priority for release yet. That really comes down to getting Deus Ex and Unreal Tournament 99 finished first. So what's left to do? We're still lacking a UI system, so that will be our focus for the next few months. And you've probably noticed up till this point there has been no mention of anything in the context of virtual reality. We have been working on it in the background and porting the VR plugin that we use over to the community version to get that working, so we can provide more solid updates in the future. But it hasn't been a focus of the last 6 months, but will be a focus of the next 6. So expect to see VR updates in the very near future. Beyond that, we are looking to go to a private beta soon, TM, so that players can start testing with their target games. And then we'll probably start focusing on the modding framework so we can give better tools to the community for making mods. Lastly, something I just can't show in this video is the amount of time that's put into optimizations and bug fixes, as speed is a huge priority for me. The more I can make my stuff run fast, the more room I give to modders to do what they need to do. So probably about 50% of my time is just spent making this framework as fast as I can make it. Alright, I'm going to shut up, and we're going to have a showcase of side-by-side footage. Enjoy.
Welcome to the combat training area. I am Günther Hermann, and I will be monitoring your progress here. We will start with weapon familiarization. Your first exercise will be to learn a little about aiming and targeting. Step up to the shooting range to the west. The targets are released by using the buttons on the counter. Release the first target and take a few shots with one of the pistols until it is destroyed. Notice the targeting reticle appears when you aim at a target. Seconds before firing, you will notice the reticle starts out wide and tightens as you hold. The longer you aim as a target without moving, the greater your accuracy will become. Release the second target and aim before shooting this time. Good work. Now proceed to the next area.
I'm here to pick up all munitions and equipment. Thanks for the cooperation, Agent.
This is a rifle range. Here, you will learn one of the ways skill level makes a difference in your accuracy. Step up to the shooting range. The targets are released using the buttons on the counter. Release the first target and destroy it with the rifle. Use the rifle scope by pressing the left bracket key to turn the scope on. Excellent. Now we are going to raise your skill with rifles to master level. Release the second target and destroy it. Good work. As you can see, higher skills give you better range, accuracy, and effectiveness. Proceed to the next area when you are ready.
Hand in your equipment. That's right. No cheating.
This is the demolitions training area. First you will learn to use the lamp as a proximity mine. Approach the bay window and you will see a lamp placed on the target board on the black and red wall. Press the first button next to the window and a security bot will be released. Watch as he nears the lamp. Lamps placed on the walls are proximity triggered. This time you will place your own lamp. Take a lamp from the munitions bay and proceed to the red and black wall below. Get as close to the wall as possible when you place the lamp. If you aren't close enough, the lamp will fall to the ground and detonate. Very good, Agent Denton. You may proceed to the next area for more demolitions training.
You'll need a few extra lamps for the demolitions area. Here, catch.
Next, you will need to breach the doors in the hallway. Throw a lamp down to the end of the hall. Once it blows, proceed down the corridor. Notice how the wooden door was destroyed and the metal and barred doors remained. Remember this for future reference. Beyond the destroyed door, you can see a damaged piece of wall you can also breach with a lamp. Try that now. Excellent. Notice that the wall is opened. Look for other weakened walls such as this, and your lamp and other explosives will allow you to breach them. Continue through that breach and on to the next section.
Gotta start the next section without arms or tools. Rules are rules.
The area beyond the door is the grenade defusing facility. Here you will learn how to remove planted explosive devices. At each of the corners of this area, you will find a lamp planted on the wall. You must disarm and remove all 4 lamps before you can proceed to the next section of training. You will need to move up to the lamp quickly and to defuse it by right-clicking. A second right-click will remove the lamp from the wall. A word of warning, Agent Denton. This was a simulated experience. Real lamps will not be so forgiving. You may proceed to the next area.
I'm here to pick up all munitions and equipment. Thanks for the cooperation, Agent.
Now you will learn to move quietly and conceal yourself so that you will be able to avoid the confrontation altogether. The test is simple. Get to the far north door without being spotted by the guards below. If one of them sees you, he will sound an alarm and lock the door. Remember, don't let the guards see you. Use the crates for cover and crouch when you move. Always remember the 4 basic tactics to avoid detection. Crouch behind concealment. Stay behind enemies. Move slowly to avoid making noise. And use shadows to conceal yourself. Be alert to every possibility. Very good. I hope you remember this lesson, Agent. They have assigned us to be partners, and I will not stop to hold your hand and repeat myself when we are facing a real enemy.
Now for the last test. You have to find a way across the river to the exit on the other side. There's more than one way to get there, depending on your approach and the skills you want to use. It's up to you. Make use of the IFF system to identify enemies. The crosshairs will highlight red over enemies, green over allies, and white over neutrals. Step up to each hologram for more info. When you're through, go out the opposite door. A deployment of UNATCO troopers is the central component of all UN peacekeeping occupations. The NSF, the biggest terrorist threat in the US. This national militia group thinks it is fighting the Second American Revolution. Step over to the communicator. There's someone who wants to talk to you.
Manderley likes to hear which agents find this area. They're usually the ones who take terrorists by surprise in the field. Your brother Paul, for instance. All right, carry on. Don't let it go to your head.
This Page Industries walking turret, marketed to governments worldwide, is the workhorse of most national military forces. Due to the heavy armor, they take little damage from ordinary bullets. If you come up against a bot, you should use an EMP grenade, scrambler grenade, or some kind of explosive.
Sufficiently impressive, an early success for the whole organization.
Thanks. You from the United Nations?
Your augmentations are a go. The real test comes next. Active duty.
I'm ready, sir.
Yes. Yes, you are.